Hi, so we'll be doing the elastic leg casing today using a single fold bias tape. Get your bias tape, fold it in half lengthwise and press. Then we want to essentially use the tape to measure the exact opening of the leg hole. So you could just quickly clip it around the leg hole, and as you get to the end, overlap the edges like I have done here. Get your fabric marker and mark where it ends and overlaps. So from the first marking, you want to make a second marking which is the same width as your bias tape. So here I've used a 2-inch wide bias tape. You could use a ruler or just open up the bias tape and make a second marking, the exact width of your bias tape. So you'll end up with 2 markings. Make sure you cut at the second one at right angles and trim off the excess. Get your bias tape right sides facing, meet the short ends, and then you want to turn or rotate one of the bias tapes so that they meet at 90-degree angles. And here I've drawn a diagonal line, and this is where you will want to stitch to attach the bias tape together. When sewing bias tapes together, you will want to use a shorter stitch. Trim off excess fabric, press the seam open, and then refold along the previous crease line. Now, right sides together, you want to match the raw edges with the bias tape seam in the middle of the back main fabric and pin all along the leg hole. Sew the bias tape to the leg hole with the given seam allowance. Here I've actually made it narrower at 3/8 inch because I want a wider elastic leg casing. Carefully trim off half of the seam allowance and then clip the edges. This will help your bias tape lay flat. Be careful not to clip through your stitches, and you can clip 1 inch apart all around the leg hole. When done, this is what it should look like. Then you want to press the bias tape down, give it a good press, fold it over and under towards the wrong side, and press again. Use a pin to mark where you should stop stitching, and you start stitching about 2 inches away all around the leg hole, leaving a gap for elastic insertion. Top stitch about 2 millimeters away from the edge. This is what it should look like with a gap where you could insert your elastic later. If you somehow manage to stitch it all closed, just take a seam ripper and open it up again like I do sometimes. Repeat on the other side, and then we're done.